Welcome back to Virtual Earth Day with Bluff Lake Nature Center. This is all about animals, part 3. This is Heidi again, and this time I want to talk with you about the muskrat. So muskrats are often confused with beavers. They are the much smaller of the two. So a muskrat is the size of a really large rat, and a really nice way to tell them apart is by their tail. So it can be kind of hard to see when they're swimming through the water, but whereas a beaver's tail was big and flat, kind of like a tennis racket, a muskrat has a narrow, long, skinny tail that looks a lot more like a rat. So instead of using it for a paddle, they're using it as more of a rudder to help them steer. So muskrats don't do chopping down of trees and things like that like beavers do. They do build things, but they just use vegetation and mud. They don't have particularly well adapted teeth for biting things down. And they don't build dams. So they'll build a lodge for living. And the other thing they build that's kind of unusual is a feeding platform. So it's kind of just a raised, flattened area. And they will collect their food and bring it back and eat it there so that they are in kind of a safe, elevated place where they'll see predators coming and don't have to worry about that while they're eating. So their food source is just aquatic plants and sometimes aquatic animals like snails, fish, salamanders, freshwater mussels, anything they can find in the water. Muskrats are really social and really territorial. They live in family groups. And something that's really interesting is that sometimes they are found living actually with beavers directly in the beaver's lodge. So the beavers seem to kind of welcome them into the family and they live together in the lodge every now and then. And much like beavers, they're excellent swimmers. They can hold their breath maybe even a little bit longer, 15 to 20 minutes. And they can swim forward or backward, which is very unusual. And they even often mate underwater. So that's the muskrat and a few of the differences between the muskrat and the beaver. And we were surprised the other day by a muskrat when we were just filming about the lake. We were giving some information about the wetlands area and one just happened to come up behind us. So I will attach the video of that for you guys. It first goes through an area called that stormwater outfall, which we'll talk about in a separate video, but it ultimately ends up here. There is a muskrat or beaver, which you should film immediately.
Oh, got it. Oh my god.
I think it's a muskrat because its tail is kind of long and rat-like, as opposed to flat, like a tennis racket, which is what a beaver would have. That was so cool.